BD's in the pod. Hi everybody, I'm the Drunker Dan and this is TY and we have Ang Dan. Hi everyone.
Hello.
Okay,
Okay.
new topic, new week, new topic. We're gonna start rolling the dice first to see how much time we're gonna use, even though it might not be useful because we always
Let's go.
exceed our time, but let's try. I mean, no harm, right? It's just part of the
Okay,
game.
split screen.
Okay. Okay, anyway, it was
Anyway,
20,
let's go rock
right?
and roll.
So it was 20. So let's start. Okay,
Okay lah.
okay. So it's
Introduction.
funny because
Introduction.
okay, the introduction, the topic of this week might sound boring, but I think it's quite relatable and I think it's for us to think about it. The topic is called Have we done enough to save the earth? Okay,
Hmm.
sorry it sounds boring, but because I have been studying, right? So just nice this past week I've been reading quite a lot of articles and journal articles on climate change. And then of course I can selfishly think that look, all this climate change thing and everything that the scientists have been predicting, like the temperature gonna like go up by 2 or 3 degrees in the future and whatever, it might not affect me because look, I'm not young anymore, and if I give it 20 more years for me to live, right, I might not be the one who so-called suffer from all this.
Yeah.
So I can selfishly think so. But again, I need to think for my kids because I have two very young kids who are still growing up. And then the thing that it really triggered me was because today I was reading news, right? And then I saw this news. It says that scientists has finally proven that climate change can lead to health issues. It's almost like, for example, okay, last time we always assume that, for example, let's say you have a sandstorm and then it affect your, breathing and stuff. But now it's talking about the climate change, how this earth is changing, the high temperature and all is causing you some real health issues. It's almost like last time when we all eat the satay and stuff, right? We were so happy, blah blah. And then suddenly one scientist tell you that, okay, if you eat this too much, right, it leads to cancer. Then everyone starts to get a bit paranoid. So that was me this afternoon. I was like, oh wow, well this is quite serious, huh? Then I was researching and stuff, right? Then I started thinking, because my kids are young, right? Um, what I mean by have I done enough is, have I really started educating them about this? For example, the bare minimum is we don't recycle things at home. Let's say we finish, we don't split our rubbish into like recyclable and non-recyclable. We don't really teach them the idea of why do we bring our own bag. I mean, even though we do bring now, but that's because they start charging now for the plastic bag, right? The whole thing about bringing plastic bag is just that for us to save money. But I don't really tell my kids that, okay, I'm doing this because I need to save the earth. How do I put it, and have I done enough as a human being on this earth to do this? Yeah, that's my big question. Like
Okay.
we might just think that it's such a small action, it doesn't change the world or whatever, but who knows, maybe it
Okay.
does.
Okay. Of course it does. Yeah. If you believe in climate change, you will believe that every single action done by us will help something. It's like economics. You know,
Mm,
how does Shopee make money when they're selling at $1.19? But well, with volume, they can make a
yeah,
lot of money.
yeah.
So you save a plastic means times 5 billion Singaporean. That's a lot, quite
Mm.
substantial. Hmm.
Mm. But
Okay, so who's
T1,
gonna start first?
have you had any behavioral changes for the past 5 years in terms of when it comes to environmental related stuff? Like, have you started, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I've become more environmental wasteful
Like
because
how?
I spend a long time at home,
Uh,
so I use a lot of aircon. and then with my age and now current climate. Last time I used to also hot, take a shower, sweat it out. Now I too old to do that. I was like, no lah, I better have a better improved standard of living. I close my window, I turn on the aircon. So that's what I
Mm.
do. But then again, as I grow older, my other expenses drops. I splurge less on luxurious product.
Mm.
I eat less as a human being, right?
Mm.
Because the more you consume, the more food waste you. But I eat less as a human being. And I'm not sure about you guys. I'm not sure if you have your relative, your dad, your mom. Oh, you're still using that same old leather shoe. You're still using that old. Your dad will say, "Oh, this wallet has been with me for 30 years." It's happening to me. I'm using my same old good old wallet for the longest time. Last time when you were young, oh, this new model, I want to buy that. I want to change it. I throw it away. But
Yeah.
as we age, we start to we grew that kind of relationship with the product that we have, the kind of memories, and we start to hold on to them dearly as, oh, this has been with me for a while. So in as a lifestyle, something there's always a relationship. So, oh, okay, my perishable expendable stuff, my lifestyle fashion, I've reduced my spending. But in terms of my general environment, oh, I turn on more aircon because now electrical fee is only that much relative to my general enjoyment, a lifestyle enjoyment, right? So there's
Mm.
something has changed. Yeah. uh and my personal interest is I start to do repair things,
Repair things. Yeah.
build
It's
things.
like
That's my personal
recycle lah.
interest.
It's like recycle and reuse.
Yes, but it's my interest now. I start to, oh, if I can repair it, I will repair it. If I will not try to buy a new one. Last time, something spoiled. Oh, this thing spoiled. Damn it, spoiled. I will throw it away. I contact Sony and say, oh no, they don't repair it. So I went to Shopee and I bought the battery. I pry it open, change the battery. Yeah, it's working like brand new. So, so these are the things that's a simple thing like this. Just change the goddamn battery. Yeah. I also learn. I'm also trying to learn how to repair my old iPhone, for example. So, oh, this thing cracked, right? Or usually you just scrap it, buy a new one. How about, okay, I may buy a new one, but the old one I will experiment, buy the parts, break it apart and fix it. If the shop can do it, maybe I can do it with help of from YouTube. So I'm trying to do this kind of thing. Yeah. So in certain ways I become more wasteful. Certain ways I start to recycle more and reuse more. Things like that. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about going out with a broken iPad and people seeing me with a broken iPad. Yes, as long as it works. I'm not worried about going out with a wallet that nobody knows and it's old, but as long as it works. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I have this one for more than 10 over years. It's crap out. The thing broke. I get my own leather to do it, to repair it, and it was, of course, it's a handmade wallet, not brandless. It won't break. It just won't break. My old LV wallet. This is my LV wallet. So what I did was
Mm.
I broke it apart. I took away the broken parts. I'm going to recycle this thing into either a dog leash or a
No
wash
lah, no
strap.
lah. You can always recycle it
Yeah,
into something for me. I don't mind.
recycle what?
Not a dog leash thing. Thanks.
No, no, no. So for my
You,
dog, or I'm gonna
you,
make a strap to replace Joey's watch strap, which our leather strap, watch strap always
I
it will
know.
break
I think
after a while.
it's good enough to do two. I'll need one,
To
and then Joey can have another one. I don't mind. With that pattern, I'm sure it can sell next time.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
again, I'm in
So
China. Again, I'm in China. So that
you can buy the
pattern
Chong one.
here is like, how much you want? 1 meter, 30 cents. How much you want? That kind of thing.
Yeah, so all these ostentatious goods, right? As much as we pay a lot of money for it, they don't really last because they are fine product, right? Fine lifestyle product, but they don't last like the real hardcore ones. And then now that it's broken, of course, if you're a millionaire, you just chuck it, right? But I'm not, and I also have my um, memories and feelings with this thing. And my personal goal is that if I can repurpose this into a watch strap or a collar for my dog, that would be so cool, right? Of course, this is limited size. There's only so much I can play with it. Yeah. So if you have any broken LV or Gucci or Chanel or Prada or Dior, just throw it in my direction. I'll help you refurnish it.
Hmm.
Oh, I
Then
thought I thought Ken hangs already.
no, 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 no.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's my answer to you.
I I will repeat. I will just say, copy and paste your spiel. I'm exactly the same. I will just wear everything until it's got holes,
Mm.
literally. And I've got recycled electrical equipment in here that I'm
Mm.
using to old iPhones as auto cues. I'm just I don't throw
Yeah.
things out
I,
anyway. But the
yeah.
so actually so that the whole idea here is influencing your kids because
Next
I think that's
generation.
how
Yeah.
you're
Mm.
framing it is. But for sure, I've been because in UK recycling is a big thing even from 20 years ago. So I've come to Singapore with a recycling mindset anyway. So I don't need a top down the government sort of telling me
Mm.
to do it because I just do it.
Mm.
We separate our waste to
Mm.
recycling and refuse. Um, so it's good for the children to see good example. So no waste. Don't run the tap if you're not using the water. Don't keep it running. Just small things we can do.
I think it's accumulated issues, right? Of course, the modern people today we work from home, right? So you start to travel less, you walk less to the bus stop and to the MRT, and then when you're home, you feel chilled. You get your job done, and then you may or may not go for a walk at the park and things like that. So if you work from home more, you naturally you expose less to the sun, right?
Mm.
So that's something that, and then now we have our devices, our phone, tablets, and all
Mm.
the online stuff. I was just sharing with my friends. Hey, I saw this new Netflix mainland Chinese mystery uh, series. It's really nice. It's called Regeneration, Xing Sheng, and I was like telling them, go watch it, very nice. Then they say, yeah, sure, sure, sure. Some of them said, nah, I don't like to watch it on the small screen. What do you mean? I said, what do you mean small screen? Yeah, they watch it on their phone. You watch Netflix on their phone. So I say, yeah, obviously that you're not gonna enjoy the movie because it's on the phone, right? Just like imagine you watch the Infinity War on the phone. How nice can it be, right? You need a big screen, man. But so what I'm trying to say is that people, their lifestyle has changed.
Mm.
Like everyone watch their own stuff. You have a Netflix family account. The kid watches his Netflix in his phone. The wife watches another Chinese drama on her phone, and so on and so forth. Everyone watches their own thing. We start to what's that word? The content become customized.
Mm.
But then
Mm.
the device that you're using becomes so small. You can't have, if my family or household of five, I can't have five huge 55-inch TV, right? So they're all reduced to this
Yeah, I
size.
think that there's a word
Laptop,
for that. There's atomized. We're becoming atomized to individuals.
headphones.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
all individuals, atomized. So even in families are becoming individuals within in a household. There's no
yeah,
community. Think we're steering off topic here, but it's
Mm.
sure.
all. I think it's all interrelated.
I think I hear then, because just now when he was talking about that, right? I went in and see the news that I saw today. So the
Mhm,
topic was, according to the research, right? This climate
mhm,
change can affect your brain's health. So how does it affect your brain's health? In short,
mhm,
is because our brain, right, have to can only operate in a certain range of temperature. So if let's say we are constantly in a very hot situation where we are talking about heat wave that hits the Southeast Asia countries, including Singapore, we felt very hot for the past few weeks, right? But when we talk about Bangkok, Philippines, and Indonesia, we're talking about temperature that hits around 51 degrees Celsius. Okay, so there is a heat wave, and in Philippines, right, they actually stop school for I think 1 or 2 weeks because it's too hot to stay. So we're talking about this heat wave thing that will actually hurt your brain, and then you won't be able to think and operate. But if we put this whole context, of course, is all comparative, because if you put this whole context in Singapore, like what TY just mentioned, you just sit in the room and turn on the aircon, and we don't go out so far.
Now that we have EVs in the near futures, of course, EVs currently we are in the transitional phase. Our EV is using electricity. Electricity is still come from fossil fuel somehow, right? But in the near future, when we have energy or wind energy or solar energy, then and when the technology develops further, then that's where we start to capture the energy from the sun, which is clean energy, more than we use fossil fuel energy. Now, so this is something that yes, climate change. I believe in that, but I also believe that in mankind, with advance in technology, we should be able to reverse climate change. But of course, using cleaner energy doesn't change the fact that if you throw your waste or you don't recycle,
Yeah, although there's
that
two different
yeah
things. There's
yeah
clean planet, and there's carbon in the atmosphere.
yeah
And I agree with you. In the past, we don't know the temperatures, but we can measure the carbon in the atmosphere, and there was a
mm,
lot more carbon in the atmosphere. There was
mm,
much more greenery, and much more of the planet. And I'm
mm,
talking thousands and millions of years. There was much more
mm,
greenery on this planet because there's much more
yeah
carbon, because it's
yeah
carbon that feeds the plant life. And
right
so yeah, I mean the whole the thing is, the whole topic is, I, I see it from a Western perspective, and it's quite interesting that
mm,
Ken
mm,
is now in China, because the West are doing all this net zero stuff, but China are building coal plants left, right, and center. Okay, so that we can reduce the carbon going into the atmosphere, but what
mm,
about these other developing countries like
yeah
Africa? And it was
Yep.
very interesting. I don't know if you saw that
yeah
interview with this very pompous Brit
yeah
journalist with one of the
mm,
African countries, and
mm,
he was having, so you're drilling for oil on off the
mm,
coast of your country.
mhm,
So aren't you worried about the fossil fuels and the climate change? He goes,
mhm,
excuse me, we have thousands of millions of acres or whatever of rainforest. We are actually producing the oxygen so much more than we're
mm,
pumping out. And he was just decimating this journalist. He's putting, because the journalist thought he could put him down, but this
mm,
this prime minister of this, I can't remember which African country it was.
mm,
He was just saying, no, we're doing much more to actually combat this problem with more carbon, because we've got more rainforests soaking in the carbon from the atmosphere.
yeah
So that's it. I mean, you're fighting. What do? You're fighting the carbon in the atmosphere, which is producing global warming. But we got places, developing countries, who they are trying to stop them mining for coal, or digging for coal and drilling for oil,
uh, yeah
which
I
is
want to
actually going to
call
make their populations poorer, because energy is the number one thing that gets you out of poverty, is electricity.
yes
Energy is
I want to cause some of this Western criticism of third world country uh uh uh, dirtying or causing climate change to the environment. I want to call this a hypocritical
because yeah.
judgment, because these are third world country. They are trying to be first world country. And if you look back to
Mm,
UK, US, in the 50 sorry in the 30s, during their industrialization, yeah, they are the one that's burning fuel and
yeah,
everything. Yeah, but
yeah,
it's just so happened that different people develop at different speed, and now the Western country has already obtained this level. That's the part where they achieve this level already. Now they're trying to improve the environment. Time to slow things down. And but then what about, then you can't go around and say, no, 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 you China should not do this thing. No, 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 you Africa should not do that thing. I say, hey, this is hypocritical, because you're not applying the same standard.
exactly.
Yeah.
you need to have as you say, new sources of energy. And the one thing you didn't mention is nuclear. And there's actually good
Yeah,
arguments for nuclear.
yeah,
Um, fusion or fission. They call it fission or fusion. There's a safe
sure.
version of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Be-
yeah, I mean, it's a very complex
Sure. Yeah,
issue that goes beyond. Individually, you should be caring, and the recycling is nice, but
yeah.
when you have all these billionaire millionaires flying around in jets telling us to, you know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
uh, not fly and take less holidays, you think, yeah, come on.
Or the big firms when they fly the jet and then they tell you the company invest in how much carbon what's that word
Well,
uh, carbon
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 credit,
carbon
carbon
is it?
zero
credit.
Well, I
carbon
think it's
credit.
that
That's right.
as part of the
Yeah,
ESG scores, isn't it? So even countries now have
Yep,
ESG
yep,
scores too.
yep.
yeah.
It's a scoring system more based on lots of different properties or
Yeah, so it's to me it's just an excuse that they are flying in what they are flying in first class. They could have flew in the economy, and then this plane can carry more, for example, right? But because a portion of the plane is made for first class and business class, well, if they take away the first class seat and the business class seat and turn it into economical class, then the same plane can fit more people, right? But naturally you have the people who want to fly in first class, and then these big businessmen, they fly in first class or their private jet, for example. So again,
Recently, also I read this book. It's by this author called Steven Pinker. It's called
oh yeah,
Enlightenment
he's
now.
very good. He's very good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So this book,
Steven what?
the Steven Pinker,
Mm,
Pinker. So the whole idea about this concept behind what he said is that yes, we a lot of people might think that we are living in the worst century ever or the worst planet ever, like for the as compared to whatever that we had last time. But according to whatever that he had researched, right? For example, we if we talk about um age of living and when 18th century, right, the average age, right, is 35, meaning that people
mm,
live until 35 and they pass away because
yeah.
of whatever but now in 2015, right, the average is 71.4, and it's actually going up
Mm,
and up. So
yeah.
I agree with Dan, because yes, with technology and with our I don't know, advancement, probably we can solve all this issue. We can even slow down, we can even reverse the whole thing. But now the problem is same thing as you mentioned, the person who are developing all these so-called EV cars or your solar panels and all, right, they're traveling all over the world in their jet, their private jet, and they are living all the very luxurious lifestyle. And
Mm.
there might be the one of the person who is producing more carbon and creating more carbon footprints than any one of us. So
Yeah,
it's
but
actually, yeah.
yeah, I mean it. That yeah, the Steve Pinker. He yeah, that's exactly it. We're civilization or human flourishing is getting better every century, getting better. Less war, more people coming out of poverty, which is a very important thing.
More
Um,
travel.
yeah, I mean, we're in a better age, even though you think there's a war here, a war there. We're, well, there are more wars, basically. Well, there's more death in war as well. And you say, as you mentioned already, age age of dying is higher now, or the average age of death. Um,
It's
yeah,
called
I
the
mean,
mortality rate.
but it's an interesting. I just want to just mention about the EV stuff. I mean, just if you do any research on cobalt mines in Africa, and then you just
Mm.
go, oh dear, we're there's one problem here, but and we try and solve it with electric vehicles, but then you've got there's a whole minefield of issues with the mining of the lithium and the cobalt for these
Battery
batteries.
making. Battery makings.
Is
Yeah.
just is another it's going to be another issue in the future. It's going to be like we've got all this lithium and cobalt. What are we going to do with it?
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. This is like, to me, this is like a transitional technological stage. We were burning coals during the locomotive era, right? Steam and
Mm.
coals. We had to mine the coals, and all the infrastructures. And before the coal, the horse. Why do we have uh, our road system, left hand drive, right hand drive? The words that associated to roads are generally came from the horse era, right?
Yeah.
When horse was a transportation,
Yeah.
right? And then you have the entire industry that goes around breeding horses, repairing the horses' hooves, making the leather, saddles, and everything, and the
Mm.
blacksmith, the horseshoe, and then all this just dies away. Then locomotive, and
Yeah.
then it dies away, and then now we have fossil fuel. Soon, hopefully, it will die away, and then of course, then we have the cobalt mining and the battery mining. Hopefully, it will die away, and next time we will just, I don't know, ride on a unicorn poops.
Mm.
We can go to places. I don't know. Yeah. Or we don't even need to travel, right? We can just use our AI and virtual augmented reality, and we
Mm.
get
Mm-mm.
satisfaction while our body just sits here and rot, while the brain get all the stimulations. It's probably the same experience as physical experience, and without the risk of interacting with people and getting diseases or knocked down by cars. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
So, what is the verdict, Mr. Ken?
There's no verdict. I just
What's the
thought
conclusion?
I think the verdict is it's good to read. See, I read both sides of the whole thing, and I'm not going to be full into the look. It's important to do what you can personally in terms of recycling. Be careful with it's wastage in general, isn't it? But
Mm.
at the end of the day, you got to instill these good habits to the next generation for sure.
mm,
I
Um,
want to. Mm.
but as you do what you can. But I mean, to worry
You know,
about it, to worry about
you
it,
know.
I'm not worried about it.
I want to bring this. I want to bring attention to this little facts. Singapore is like, we have our rubbish chute in our house or in our
mm,
HDB, right? It's so convenient, right? We just whether we just throw the trash within our house, or we can just go to the corridor and we just dump our trash. It goes down the chute, and then next day the rubbish guy will come and pick it up.
mm,
We are not that involved in recycling and maintaining, you know.
yep,
But
yep,
I use Taiwan for example, or even China. They don't have rubbish chute. They have to pack their shit. They have to then wait for the rubbish collectors, go down
Mm,
to the road, dump it, and then they have 4 seasons. So they have to be very conscientious of what they throw, how
yeah,
they throw it, and how to
mm,
pack them.
yeah.
Right? For us, we just chuck, dump. Right? Yeah.
Well, even
So
with the
yeah.
recycling here, you have the
Mm,
recycling bins outside. But honestly, in UK, people are sorting out the recycling to plastics, cardboard, metal. So
yeah.
when they collect it, they got different trucks to pick up the different types of recycling.
Right.
Here,
Yeah.
it's just all chucked into the same.
Yeah.
Well, we're not
Because
sorting. We're not with the paper and the plastic and the yeah.
but something, because we are more pragmatic, because the NEA knows that Singaporeans is not going to do it, or rather it's just too little, so they are sorting out at the waste center,
Mm,
not here.
mm,
So
yeah.
but we do have a infrastructure to sort it out. It's just that the whole mankind, social exercise here
yeah.
fails, because they know that
It's not.
humans not going to
Yeah,
do it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I still remember when I used to stay with my in-laws. Our neighbor
Mm,
next door, a Malay family, the
mm,
father would bring her two daughters, like when
mm,
I think they are at their 7 and 9 years old, something, carrying
mm,
a huge bag of plastic bottles and milk bottles
mm,
and stuff, right?
mm,
And go down to
mm,
throw into the blue bin.
mm,
So, but that time my kids are still young, right? Then I told myself one day I have to be that father. I'm like, I'm not because I have that, oh, I want to save the earth kind of thing. I just thought that it's a very good habit. It's
Mm.
just
Yeah.
a very it's habitual. It's something like for example, when you shower, when you
Mm,
rubbing your body and all, you just
mm,
off the tap and then and after that you on the water. It's not because you
mm.
want to save money or because you just want to save. It's just a very good habit to have.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
Yeah.
just thought so.
Yeah.
You know, and surprisingly in China, right? Just now what TVY mentioned is really true because we have to throw rubbish outside, and outside my room there's this two rubbish bin at the lift, right? So it's one is recyclable, one is not. So every time
Mm.
when I throw my rubbish, right, I really have to think, and I don't want people to judge me so called because you know when we order the delivery, we have our address and room number and stuff. Right? What if they open the dustbin and say, "Hey, this is non recyclable. Hey, who? Wow, room 205. Wow, this person." You know,
Mm.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
that
This is
thing.
a social problem in Japan and Taiwan also. Yeah. If you
Yeah,
especially so the Japanese, for example, if you're gaijin and you don't know their culture and you mess up the whole,
Mm.
they will like diss you, man. Like what the hell, you know?
yeah. Yeah. So I think it's yeah. So yeah, maybe my conclusion would be we might not escalate this to the level of we are doing this to save the earth or we are doing this to save the money. But I thought it's a good habit to have somehow. But of course my kids might ask me why is it a good habit? Then I will have to think of something to explain to them why is it a good
Save,
habit.
so
Well,
save
you know,
money.
you can think. I think it's just a case of being just don't be wasteful, and you just think the things on this planet are pretty precious. So you can
Mm.
you just it's. I think it's.
Well, they just need
I
to
think it's
know
an
that it's
interesting
good.
because I think it's very difficult to teach people teach waste teach the
The
concept of
concept of
wastage.
waste.
Yeah, the
Yeah. You're
concept
right.
of waste
Yes.
is pretty
It is.
difficult
It is.
unless you do a day trip to a dump a massive waste dumpage island off the Singapore and say this is all your stuff. It's like, oh,
Maybe,
okay.
yeah, maybe you can sidestep the whole explanation of waste stage by explaining to them like, okay, you finish your work, you need to keep your stuff after as a habit. So you finish using this thing, plastic goes to this place, that one goes to there. When you finish
Yep.
painting, keep your pencils here, keep your paper
Yep.
there. When you at night you want to sleep, do your brush your teeth, and so these are habits, right?
Hmm.
You don't have to
Mm.
explain to them, no, if you don't brush your teeth, yeah, da, da, da. So, well, of course you can. You sort out your mess, and so that they can throw it nicely. And if they don't understand, then they just have to learn it by habit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
Good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yay! Another
I
day.
yeah, I yeah, but it's good to think of no, but my kids do ask me, like for example, when they first started to brush their teeth and all, right? They will be very curious, like, Daddy, why do we have to do this? Why do we have to do that? That they will ask questions, which is a good thing, right? We all want our kids to ask questions and be able to ask questions. So I'm just thinking, like, if they ask me, like, but you're right, lah. I can just put it as it's just another good habit.
Well, you know,
But
even at I don't know how you are at the dinner table, but don't waste your food.
Yeah.
I don't know if
yeah,
that's that's quite a Western
I
concept of like, eat all your food that's on your
yeah.
plate. Don't waste.
So I have some adjustment to this concept because we used to cook enough, or in the we Chinese parents are always worried that
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't get enough food, so there's always an oversupply, and then when you don't, and then after that you have to not waste food, then you start putting everything inside and you go out of weight. So
Mm.
now the idea of doing this is, number one, learn how to live in hunger, meaning just have enough
Huh?
food.
Uh,
No, seriously, just have enough food, and so you don't waste because you can easily finish the food. But if you're
Mm.
yeah,
hungry, you can eat again. So now
yeah.
that's good for your health because less meal, sorry, more meals, but less volume. So
More
that's easy for,
frequency, high
yeah, more,
frequency,
it's
less
easy to
frequency.
digest.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's actually better. And because when you do that, you don't need to, yeah, because there's no waste, right? So
yep.
yeah, and then if you buy a packet of something, you can chop it up into small bits and pieces, because my mom sometimes she will like, hey, yeah, why do you cook so much veggie? I can't really finish. Yeah, but I said, yeah, if I keep cook half, it's not enough. She thinks that it's not enough, and if I cook everything, that's too much. I said,
Mm.
just cook half. Not enough is okay, because if you're hungry again, we can go out and eat again. But if you cannot finish it, either you
Yeah.
dump it or you force
Yeah.
yourself to eat it, and that's not healthy. So
Yeah.
health and waste,
Yeah. Yeah.
abundance of food, and we are in a society where we were least likely to be malnourished. So there's no need
Yeah.
to yeah.
Yeah, that makes me think of thought of something. I think, and also because we are the generation who have been through maybe some sort of difficulties. I don't know about then, but for example, where I came from, Malaysia, right? I've been through water ration when I was younger. So we will
Mm.
have days where there's no water at all for like 2 3 days. So we really have to save every single bit.
Yeah.
A shower
Mm-hmm.
you can only use 3 4 pails of water. That's all. Yeah, I've been through that. So I kind of like, okay, I'm very conscious about, oh wow, am I using too much water, that kind of thing. But that was because of my experience, right? But in Singapore, we are very lucky and fortunate because we
Mm.
wouldn't really have that problem. We have everything that we need. Yeah. So the next
And,
generation, I think, it might not be easy to 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 let them fully understand why are they doing it. Of course, I can train them into a good habit, but why? I think the reason behind is just might not be easy to